I was always fascinated by those David Attenborough documentaries where he talks about a flower that blooms once in every 10,000 years, or a little critter that's never seen above ground during daylight, and as he carries on walking he's describing what it is, and then he suddenly stops and says, "And here it is. Let me tell you a story." Grab yourself a cuppa. It might take a while. I buy a lot of stuff online. I think I showed you this amazing little tool that I bought the other day, and it doesn't mean I don't necessarily patronize retail stores, but sometimes it's very difficult to find some of the things that you end up being told that you need. Anyway, back in May I saw an advert on Facebook for a place called Viso Home, and as it was situated in Sydney and some of the items advertised were very, very cheap, I figured it to be a fair risk given that it was an Australian business, and if I used PayPal to buy the items I had at least some guarantee that if they didn't turn up or they were something completely different, you know, I had some recourse to make a claim. Anyway, I ordered a couple of things, and one was a pair of boots, as in casual wear boots, not work boots, and the other was some bamboo underwear. Now, I ordered them large because I know that sometimes when you buy things online they tend to be small. So the boots, for example, I think I went with a 9 or a 9.5, or I normally take 8 or 8.5, and the underwear I went with the XL or XXL, I can't recall now, but larger than I might normally order, because I'd rather they be a little loose rather than a bit rather than too tight. Anyway, they duly arrived, and they were just hopeless, as in the boots wouldn't even slip on with you know, a reasonably thick sock. And I compared them against my work boots, and you can see the difference in size of the sole. And then the underwear was just tiny, and once again you can see the difference in size when compared to a large sized boxer undershort. I emailed them back and said this sizing is all wrong and I want to return them, and they said that how about if they give me a discount, and I can't recall exactly what these figures were, you know, but I think they offered 10% off and I keep them. And I said, well, there's no point in me keeping them, they just don't fit. They continue to offer me discounts, you know, went from 10% to 60% eventually, and then I think it was some kind of voucher or something that I could use to buy more items. And I said there was none of those things are of any value to me at all, seeing as I don't want to buy more items only to find they don't fit either, nor do I want 60% off and just keep the goods because they don't fit. You know, I would have paid the 40% of the price just to keep them when in fact they don't fit me, and so they're no use to me. So they said, well, I could send them back, but I had to send them to some place in China. And I said, why would I send them to some place in China when I ordered them from Australia? And they said, well, that's where our warehouse is. And I said, I don't really care where your warehouse is, I'll just send them back to the address in Australia. And they kept insisting that I send them to China, so I lodged a claim with PayPal, and PayPal said that good news, they'd give me all my money back if I sent them to China. And I said, like, I can send them to Sydney for, I don't know, 15 or 20 bucks, but it's going to cost me 45 bucks to send them back to China. So they finally agreed to give me not only my money back, but also 45 bucks towards the postage to send them to China. So while it was a lot of messing around, that was really the best deal, because in the end I wasn't out of pocket at all. So I bundled them up, I paid the 45 bucks, I got all of the money back from PayPal, and then a week ago so now I have the money back, and the parcel back. So I'm really not losing at all, except this is a bunch of stuff that just doesn't fit. Let's have a look though at what we've got here. This is actually their own bag, by the way, so I didn't even pay anything for packaging. It's just all their own stuff that I repacked back into. Including the bag that they mailed it in. So these are the boots. Now they actually look okay, to be perfectly honest, but they're a bit small. Now I figure that, well, if I'm seeing as I got them for nothing, I may as well try them on with a thin sock, see if they fit, and then see if they'll stretch. I'll just spray them with water, wet them, and then see if they'll stretch to fit, because like I said, they actually cost me nothing at all to buy, so they're not bad. It said they're leather, and it said this is a whatever sole, but who can tell? You know, it might just be a really good, cheap vinyl. Now these other things are these, and you saw those already in that size comparison. A pack of 10 of these supposedly bamboo undies, but as you can see from this, and I'll show you this translated by Google Image Translate, these are not bamboo at all. So the moral of this story is, don't get scammed. So while my story ended up okay because I got my money back and the goods, not all stories are going to end up quite so well. So don't get scammed.